Over the past 6 years, I've slowly transformed my setup to where it is now, and I'm going to be showing you guys each version of it. I'm going to be starting out 4 years ago, so at the very beginning of 2020, because I kind of didn't film anything the first 2 years. So as you guys can see, at the beginning of 2020, I'm not even trying to flex or anything. This was without YouTube. I already had a setup that I was really blessed to already have. I just got my PC. I saved up for it for about 2 to 3 years. It was an Alienware with 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 1660, and a Core i7 10th or 9th gen. But yeah, I had 2 monitors, and of course I was a Fortnite kid. You can see the Fortnite wallpapers. The first one is an Alienware 240Hz 27-inch monitor, and the one on the left is one from Element. It's like a random 60Hz 27-inch monitor. Oh, I also did have a second setup because I was online school. This was the very beginning of the pandemic. So I had a laptop. I think I had 16 gigabytes of RAM. It wasn't a gaming laptop, but I also had a Blue Yeti. I don't know why I did not use it in my main setup. I think I just didn't like the sound quality of it. All right, now at this time, this was the very beginning of 2021. I had 5 or 6K subs. I just started doing YouTube and getting some success, and this is my setup. Blinding blue RGB. I don't know how my eyes handled that, but I had the Razer Huntsman Mini was my keyboard, and then I also had the Model D minus, I think it was. I had a huge mouse pad covering the whole desk, and both my monitors too. I still have those, and the same PC. I think I said the specs here.
But overall, it has a Core i7, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a 1660.
We had some normal decorations over here too, so that was pretty good. Normal chair, some paintings. But yeah, the setup was pretty much the same, and my dog at the end. I remember making this. Yep, dog channel. Now at this time, a lot has changed. I just got, at the very end of the year of 2021, I was 14, and I got almost 120K subs or something. But this was right before I blew up a little bit, so I had 70K subs at this time. We had PS5. PS5 was insane for videos back then. I had 2 PCs. We had 2 big desks, and also the Shure SM7B. Apex Pro TKL. This keyboard is insane. We have the Superlight, the G Pro Superlight. I love this mouse, bro. For 150, it is kind of expensive, but it's pretty good. We had some RGB lights over there too. I have this camera right here. I only started showing my face like 3 months ago at this time. I still have this camera. It's like honestly a really good camera, this one right here. Before we continue, this is Dust Silver, and they sent me 2 of their super unique keyboards. They have a lot of creative designs on all of their keyboards, and the packaging on them is also really nice. This pink one that they sent me is their K84 Pink Blossoms keyboard. It's a 75% keyboard, and it not only has RGB only on the keycaps, it also has it all around the keyboard in a bunch of really unique places. I really like the way the keyboard looks, and the font on it actually matches the keyboard extremely well, but the best part definitely has to be the sound. There's also a couple of other accessories that come in the keyboard, such as a keycap puller, extra switches, and a little bit more. Like I mentioned, Dust Silver also sent me a second keyboard, and this one is actually another 75% keyboard, and it's also hot swappable. It's called their Melon Shake keyboard, and the keycaps on it look a little bit more like a traditional keyboard compared to the last keyboard. And of course, it has a ton of nice RGB around it, exactly like the previous one. And for anyone curious, this is how it sounds. Dust Silver also has a ton of different keyboards and just a lot of accessories on their site, so make sure to check them out with the first link in the description or pinned comment, and don't forget to use code Vermax to save 12% on your order. Thank you so much to Dust Silver for sponsoring this video. And then you can see kind of Stream Deck, normal kind of things, Arctic 7 wireless, and then we had dual PC, which is why we had 2 different keyboards and mice. RK61, this keyboard is about $50-$60 on Amazon right now, and then the Logitech G502. So yeah, and then same bed. Oh, this was actually kind of weird spot I had my bed in. It was right behind my setup, so really it was right over here how it is right now, so it was really squished. I didn't really like it like that. We had some random decorations. We had the V I made with neon strips, galaxy orb, and then oh, this was probably the best time I ever had my shelf like organized with decorations. Look at how stacked this is. We had all the Christmas lights. This was insane. I love this. I need to go back to decorating like this, bro. Now at the beginning of 2022, this is honestly probably one of my favorite setups. In only 4 months, I was able to completely transform my setup. I switched to one insane PC that had a 3070, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and some kind of Core i7. I kind of forgot the gen of it. And I also had 3 monitors. We had a 4K monitor, a 27-inch monitor. All of them were 27 inches, and I still had the 240 hertz, and the other 2 were 60 hertz. And there was also a ton of RGB in this setup, and you can just see how like much progress I made compared to the other setups. They looked more like you could say a younger kid was making them, but then these ones are when I started kind of taking it a little bit more seriously. At the very beginning of 2022, I was really trying to like improve as much as I could, kind of like make everything match a little bit more. We had cables not that messy on the desk. We had the same keyboard and mice that I was always using, but we also upgraded the mouse pads like to Gutsy Aiden, and you can just clearly see from the video, it just looks so much better. PC case definitely carried the setup a lot too. It just really looked nice. This one was definitely pretty expensive, but all things considered, I think the biggest thing that helped my setup was definitely the desk during this time. I still am using this desk after like 2 years exactly, actually. And I also did have more ring lights and like more creative positions. I had one in the top left, and it was overall just more of a clean setup. I really do like the setup, and I had a lot of nice RGB and everything on it. And back then too, I was doing a ton of keyboard and mouse type of Fortnite videos because I used to only do Fortnite type of videos. So I had a ton of extra keyboards. I kind of used them as decoration. I had some extra mice, Nintendo Switches, and just kind of stuff like that. And I started using that as decoration. And literally this entire setup was only possible from you guys. So I definitely have to thank you guys so much for that. And then I did have my 2 PCs from my old setup laying on the floor. I was kind of thinking if I wanted to use dual PC, but if anyone has been wondering, I think it's been pretty obvious. I sold them because they haven't been seen for like 2 years on the channel. Now going into mid 2022, I might have had arguably a little bit of a downgrade in the setup, especially in my opinion. I think on the actual setup itself, we had a little bit of a downgrade in terms of just how the monitor layout. It's a little bit too simple in my opinion. I do like simple setups now, but this one just didn't really feel that good because it was really awkward, the monitor positions. But the keyboard, the mouse pad, I'm kind of being a little bit biased maybe because it's my Vermax mouse pad. But yeah, I love that mouse pad. The keyboard and mouse were insane. It's just the whole look of the setup didn't look as nice as it used to. And I think that's just due to the monitors, honestly. We upgraded to the key light. We had a much better layout than we used to with the camera and microphone. And the PC was actually a huge upgrade. It had a 3090, which back then was the best graphics card you could have because it was at the very beginning or middle of 2022. I think the 4090s were just coming out like right there. So yeah, that PC was super expensive. Literally a huge waste of money because everything was so expensive back then. I think I ended up spending almost 5 grand. I think it was 4.8k for that PC, and that's literally cheaper than you can buy a PC right now with a 4090. So everything was just super expensive back then. You can also see that my decorations were definitely getting better and better. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I kind of lost touch decorating. I need to low-key pick it up again, but I love the decorations. Neon things I had in the setup from Govy really carried my setup a lot. We had some little shelves, some boards for hanging up keyboards and backpack. I low-key like that thing a lot. I might have to bring that back. But yeah, now this next video is kind of unique actually. I really did like this setup, and it's a 360 video. So yeah, it's like a Fortnite POV video, but you can like literally scroll around. So this is the most realistic you guys can see. This wall that you guys are looking at is actually that back wall because I used to have my setup facing. We have the like camera over there. You can see we have the PS5 still. I actually just bought another PS5, and then I switched my keyboard to the Apex Pro Mini. We had basically the same stuff this time around, but yeah, I really did like this setup a lot more. I just wish my desk was a little bit bigger so I could actually fit the PC that was hiding over here on the side. But I love this monitor layout. It was insane, and also it fit the key light perfect. You'll see I actually switched back to this monitor layout and a couple other setups. You'll see I switched back to this one because I really liked it. I also did have a second setup over there on the right. It was like my kind of productive setup. We had my MacBook, kind of schoolwork. I didn't really use it as much as I wanted to though. I don't know why I look like I have no soul playing that. I look like I literally am just dead inside playing that. I don't know why. I was like low-key too locked in even for the video. At the very beginning of 2023, I kind of wanted to make my setup look like crazy and like insane for YouTube. So I tried the quadruple monitor setup, and I'm just gonna be honest, I did not like it. It felt way too cluttered. Didn't even feel like a setup anymore. It felt like not cozy at all. I did not like it, but I did have, it's like a really quick cinematic. But yeah, you can see I had 4 monitors over there, and I mean, it was nice, the setup. It just, I prefer 3 monitors a lot more. And you can see I did actually get a new PC. This one I actually bought, but then later I ended up building it. I ended up switching the case on it. So this was actually my old one you guys saw in my previous videos, the NZXT, and I completely rebuilt it into this case. So I guess you could say I built the PC, but this PC case was insane. The Height Y60, literally my favorite PC case. I like it even more than the NZXT H9 or whatever this is called. But yeah, I didn't really like this setup, and you can see there just wasn't any personalization on it. There was a good amount of RGB around the room, but but that was about it. I didn't really like the 4 monitors. It's kind of way too overkill. I mentioned the previous setup that I actually loved, and I kind of brought it back halfway into 2023, and then I continued it, which you guys will see. But during summer 2023, LG sent out this insane monitor, and you guys will see it. It's a 45-inch curved monitor. I also did get the biggest upgrade to my setup, which is the PC I have right now. It has a 4090, 32 gigabytes of RAM, a Ryzen 9 5950X, just insane specs, and the PC looks really, really good. This entire monitor setup might not be for everyone, but for me, I know I said I don't like overkill, but you can see just how much better this one looked more personalization wise. The key light was also really, really well placed, and the camera, which is really important for a YouTuber, and everything about this setup was just really, really well placed in my opinion. Not to mention, over these videos, you can definitely notice just the quality of the videos get better, not only with the camera quality, but also like the kind of cinematics. Just wanted to point that out because that's kind of what happens, you know, the more you do YouTube videos. And of course, I kind of did keep the decoration simple on the setup, but they were still really, really nice. And it was actually at this time where I just finished painting both of my rooms. I painted it this kind of, you can't really tell on camera, but it's like a white, but with a very small hint of gray, if anyone was wondering. And this is when I just started getting 2 rooms, so I was able to have one room for just my setup and sleep, and then the other room is my studio where I kind of build all my setups. And actually at the end of 2023, this was the best my room ever looked in my opinion. It does not look that good now because I actually ended up switching back to the smaller room because I wanted the bigger room for YouTube videos. That's another story, but this room looked insane with the RGB. I actually had 3 setups in this video. So I had one for just my MacBook and my productive setup where I had my Bible, I did my Bible study, homework, all that kind of stuff on that setup. And then I had this other one where it was my sim racing setup, and that's the one you guys see back there, but that's going to go through some changes which you guys will see in a couple future videos. I just love the RGB in this room. It looked so good. And I also had these nice posters I ended up decorating pretty nicely, and I had some car posters, and the main setup actually looked really, really similar to the previous one. I just kind of ended up using this huge monitor for sim racing instead of actually on my setup because the huge monitor was really nice. Some people don't like it, but I actually really did like it. But yeah, it was just better to use it for sim racing. The only thing that was bad about this setup is you can barely see in the very bottom, the cable management wasn't that good. This video is pretty different to what I usually make, but I've just built so many setups. I felt like it's finally time to just go over and kind of wrap it all up because this 2024, we're going to have a bunch more, of course. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, YouTube recommends any of the 2 videos up on the screen. Before I end this video though, of course, over these last 4 years, your guys' support has enabled me to do literally all of this. So I thank Jesus for all you guys every single day. But yeah, like usual, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you click on any of the 2 videos up on the screen right now. And yeah, that's about it. God bless.